A morbid peace and somber atmosphere accompanied the moon in the night sky, while the wide-awake stars blinked here and there. Everyone else was either in bed and asleep, or in bed and wide awake, like the stars. Only the sound of the monk placing his empty cup on the table could be heard as he ran a hand through his hair. The ASMR had lost track on what cup of ale he was at. It was definitely more than 3. How could this have happened? Everything was going so well. They thought they found the culprit. They thought the murder mystery was solved. He didn't want to leave Verico alone, but he thought he would be safe, just like Blueberry and Kiala. They left them so they can be safe too. Wait, are they safe though? His breath quickened as he tried to shake the scary thought away. He should probably go to bed. Perhaps exhaustion was getting to him, but he couldn't bring himself to stand up. His legs felt too wobbly. His hands that grasped the cup still trembled with anger, frustration, grief, all the emotions that formed the lump in his throat. Swallowing to choke back a sob, he whispered to himself.
I thought I was stronger than this. Now I lost another one.
A breeze brushed past his cheek as he lifted his head. Where did that breeze come from? All the windows were closed, and the doors were shut tight due to the lockdown. It was probably a bit of his imagination playing tricks on him, right? Adjusting his jacket, he turned his head to the main door, just to make sure he was truly imagining things. But what he saw was even more surprising. It had to be real. He could have sworn he saw him. The long purple hair, the signature horns, and the book he held by his side. With his pink tail casually swishing back and forth, he turned around to meet Avack's surprised green orbs before leaping through the closed door.
Verico?
Avack wondered aloud, rubbing his eyes to make sure he wasn't dreaming.
Verico!
As if the newfound hope restored his depleted energy, the monk jumped off the bar stool and darted toward the door. Forcefully pushing the door open, he wildly looked around for some sign of Verico. Is he still alive? Is he still here? But where could he have gone? Not wanting to give up on his friend, Avack chose a random direction and began running, unaware of a certain someone watching him within the shadows. Leaning against the wall, the Reaper heaved a sigh.
The boy's gone mad,
he muttered to himself before entering the tavern to get a drink. Avack continued to run as far as he could with the energy he had left. He had already left Riddleport and was debating on whether to go back, but he would never give up on his friend. So he continued running. Soon he found himself climbing up a steep, grassy hill, a hill that seemed to reach for the night sky. Once he got to the top, he rested his hands on his knees and panted. He couldn't explain why, but a part of him knew in the back of his mind that this was the place. And surprisingly, he was right. There was Verico, right in front of him, and only a mere few feet away. But the tiefling's back still faced him, his hair blowing gently with the night breeze.
Verico, is that really you?
Avack asked, straightening his back. Those quiet seconds that passed by felt like hours for the hopeful monk, before his friend finally turned around. Verico held a book close to his chest, and a few scars scattered his form. Scars that Avack tried not to grimace at, but failed miserably. The tiefling's eyes scanned the ASMR in front of him, looking him up and down.
Avack?
It really is you!
Out of excitement, Avack ran up to hug Verico, only for his arms to pass through him.
Huh? Why did that happen?
Verico frowned as he took a step back.
I'm sorry, Avack.
Realization dawned on the monk's face as he mumbled.
No, it can't be. We can still save you! I can still—
Avack! It's too late.
Verico interrupted, hurt laced in his voice.
It already happened.
Falling to his knees, the monk couldn't help but cover his face with his hands. The tears he tried to hold in effortlessly escaped, and he couldn't hide the shakiness in his voice as he whispered.
I remember the last time we talked. I said thank you for helping me. When I felt like I wasn't strong enough. But how can I be strong now? Maybe if I was stronger, I could have saved you. None of this would have happened.
Kneeling down to be eye level with Avack, Verico opened Avack's hands so Avack would meet his gaze.
You told me you remembered what I told you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Avack nodded. Verico sighed as he wiped Avack's tears with his thumb, only for it to pass through his cheek.
You are strong, but sometimes there will come a time when something threatens that. You can use this to motivate you to become stronger. Don't let this break you. That's not the Avack I know.
But because we left you, we couldn't be there to help, and—
You didn't know. I didn't know too in the beginning.
We were so close. If only—
Avack rambled on, guilt settling in his stomach like spoiled food.
Avack, are the others okay?
Verico curiously questioned, in hopes to change the subject.
Soleil has been crying, and the others are upset too. I left them at the tavern because I wanted to make sure that you were real.
Then, can you do something for me?
Anything, Verico.
Verico took a deep breath.
Be strong for me, and for them. They need someone to lift their head and continue on the mission without me. Can you promise me that?
Yes. I promise.
Avack wholeheartedly answered, wiping his tears with the back of his hand.
Thank you.
With a sad smile, Verico placed the book in the surprised monk's hands.
You're giving this to me? Why?
I was told that when one story ends, another begins. This book is empty now, but writing usually helps me. Maybe it can help you with your story.
I don't even know what I would write about.
Trust me, you'll find something to write about. Just write what you're thinking. That's a start.
And this book won't disappear?
It won't. Trust me.
The tiefling then looked up at the night sky and frowned. Following his friend's gaze, his shoulders slightly slouched.
You have to go, right?
Verico nodded.
I came back in this form so I can say goodbye to everyone. But you're the only one awake.
Is there any way we can bring you back? Maybe a resurrection spell or just something?
A sad laugh escaped his lips as he shook his head.
A resurrection spell wouldn't work. But I will always be right here.
Verico reassured as he pointed to Avack's heart.
Or in these pages, if you choose to write.
He added, gesturing to the book.
This really is goodbye?
Avack asked, almost defeatedly.
I'm afraid so.
Before he could change his mind, Verico hugged Avack. To the latter's surprise, he could feel the tiefling's arms wrap around him in a tight embrace as he returned the hug.
Thank you, Avack. I'm going to miss you and everyone else.
The tears started to fall once more, but the monk smiled nonetheless.
I'm going to miss you too. You're my best friend, no matter what.
Stay strong, Avack.
And when Avack let go, Verico was nowhere to be found.